Welcome. Good morning. Welcome to a very warm and very appreciative Unity of Santa Barbara. My name is Bob Vitamonte, and I'll be your platform host today, and I'm thrilled to be here and representing us. The daily word today is really appropriate. It's world peace. World peace begins within my mind. Closing my eyes, I breathe deeply and envision every person bringing forth love and peace of God. I see all the world's people surrounded by a healing light and transforms strife, anger, and division into reconciliation, peace, and unity. As I hold this vision, I see the entire world aglow with radiance, harmony, and cooperation that heals the world's wounds and encourages love to flower in every person's heart. I carry this vision throughout my day. Divine love, expressing as me, sees oneness regardless of differences. Divine wisdom and understanding illumine my thoughts, inspire my words, and guide me to act in ways that bring peace to the world. And from Scripture, blessed are the peacemakers, for they will be called children of God. For those of you who are watching, that was a special surprise, given a rendition by Noreen and our wonderful choir. So, welcome to our world. Okay. So, in keeping with that, we have a vision. Unity of Santa Barbara has a really beautiful vision that's been worked upon, and it represents what's in our heart. Centered in divine love, we celebrate an awakened world filled with peace, abundance, and love. And I invite you to make that your personal vision as well. We also have a mission, which are the steps and things that we do that really aim at achieving that on an ongoing basis and sustaining it. So our mission, we inspire, educate, and serve to awaken oneness with spirit. Our core values are the things that we as individuals and as a community hold as important. And I, again, invite you to make these your own. I suspect they are your own already, but I'll just mention them once again. Our core values: we are community. We are abundance. We are love. We are God-centered. We are inclusive. And we are living consciously. Just let that soak in for yourself, because it's really the truth. It's the truth of who we are. Also, there's a statement of faith which really culminates the insights of unity, and it really presents the unifying principles around which we operate. Our statement of faith, I'll read it, and then I'll let you kind of let it soak in. There is only one presence and one power in the universe and in my life, the infinite, living, loving presence of God. And I invite you to try to take that in. If you want to, you can close your eyes. And I'm going to read it slowly and just let it seep in and have it become more and more real for you and representing who you are. There is only one presence and one power in the universe and in my life. The infinite, living, loving presence of God. It's a beautiful thing to contemplate and to bring into your heart. And you can say this from time to time during the day. It's the reality of it. It's a very grounding and centering little prayer. Now we have, as we always have, is announcements, and this will be a brief announcement. So I'm going to make only one announcement right now, and the rest will be at the end, so I won't bore you with the rest at the moment. So stay tuned for those. Today's flowers were designed by Sedona Figliota and are dedicated by the Board of Trustees of Unity of Santa Barbara. And the quote is, "To Reverend Heidi, with a big, open-hearted welcome from all of us here at Unity of Santa Barbara. We look forward to your inspiration and guidance in helping us achieve ongoing spiritual growth and an ever-deepening sense of community." So welcome. And special thanks to the board for that. Beautiful. By the way, this has to be made into a photo. So whoever's a painter out there, please take some pictures. Okay. Okay, so music video. Yeah, the music video is supposed to go on. Do we have the music video going on?
Bring it on. Everything new. Everything different. Everything true. I am ready for my next thing to do. Oh, I know it's gonna be everything new. I'm through crying. I'm through waiting. I'm through hoping against all hope. I'm through longing for something gone that'll never return. Think I finally learned to bring it on. Everything new, everything different, everything true. I am ready for my next thing to do. Oh, I know it's gonna be everything new. I'm through grieving. do. Oh, I know it's gonna be everything new. And I've survived many times before. Broken heart and slamming doors. I'll be alright. Yes, I will. Once more. Just as I did back then. I'm gonna rise again. So bring it on. Everything new. Everything different. Everything true. I am ready for my next thing to do. Oh, I know it's gonna be everything new. So bring it on. Everything different. Everything true. I am ready for my next thing to do. I know it's gonna be everything new. I know it's gonna be everything new.
Thank you, Daniel Nahmod. He's one of our New Thought writers and singers and composers who's so extraordinary. So bring it on. Everything new, everything different, everything true. I'm ready for my next thing to do, and I know it's going to be everything new. So are we in that energy together? Yeah, right? Yes, 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 yes. And I tell you, new is exciting, and new is also, energizing, and it's also emotional and scary. Yeah, it's there's a whole big experience to new, and so I appreciate that we're all in this together. And I love the idea of bringing it on, right? Because the things that are a little unknown in life, we kind of want to resist these things, yeah? But if we say, bring it on, everything new. I'm ready. I'm ready for this new day, for this new moment, for this experience of something that feels lined up with the newness that is already what you all are about, what I'm about. And beginnings are very exciting, and they also take a lot of being able to be grounded in that energy. So I'm going to do a little bit of an Oscar Academy Award acceptance thing, and if I get more than 5 minutes, Noreen, you can play me off. So anyway, I want to say good morning to Unity of Santa Barbara, and it is a auspicious moment in time. And because we are also virtual, I want to say hello to friends in Kansas City and in Chicago and in Fort Lauderdale. And this is the only good part of virtual, because I miss the hugs, and I know everybody does, but we get to really expand our reach of this beautiful spiritual message and allow Unity of Santa Barbara to have a worldwide presence. So I'll say hello to our global community. So a moment of really honoring this journey that we've all been on. I want to say that this ministerial hiring process has been a long and winding road. Can we all? Yes. And hiring a minister during the COVID pandemic has been anything but usual. It has not been a typical process. And it is fascinating that the ministerial tryouts happen to be during the time of everyone being able to come in the building. So, we got a lot of divine order going on. I don't want to be double broadcasting here. Okay. So I want to thank you all for your tenacity and your patience, and most importantly, your love and commitment to Unity of Santa Barbara. I want to thank the board, the search committee, the staff, the volunteers, and the congregation. Thank you for believing this day would come, and thank you for holding that high watch in your mind and in your heart, because that's how things manifest, clearly. You've all taken a year for healing. That was one of the main reasons I was so interested in this community, that you all are so interested in your healing and how to really show up in this open a heart and mind as you possibly can. So, and I want to thank Reverends Phil and Kathy for their amazing contributions for this time that you all have committed to and have certainly evolved in. I want you to know that I consider this a holy and sacred appointment. I'm very committed to holding the high watch and the spiritual potentiality of everyone that is in this community and everyone that is online with us. It is a group that is what it is today, and it's going to continue to grow because life is not stagnant. None of us are stagnant. None of our lives are stagnant. So as we come together and feel even more connected and committed, this will naturally grow. And we are ready for that. I ask you to hold this center, this spiritual center, and its leadership in prayer, in wisdom, in spiritual balance, in clear stewardship. And as Pope Francis says to his parishioners, he says, and please pray for me. All right, please pray for me in the sense of my own balance and being able to do this one day at a time, because that's how we do it, right? So this spiritual center has been here for many years. You've had many chapters. I'm looking forward to hearing. My first interview is with Noreen. I want to know everything she knows. And many ministers, many chapters. You've had many joys, many challenges, but mainly you all have had spiritual transformation and awakening. And I'd like to boldly proclaim from this day forward, the best is yet to be. All right? Yes? And if that feels true to your heart, then we get to say amen, and so it is. You ready? Amen, and so it is. Okay, I'm feeling better. How about you? Yeah? Yeah, so the idea really is that we want to acknowledge what is happening as life moves along, right? I know we want to just kind of like, oh, that was the past. But the idea of really celebrating what you all have been through, the ups and the downs, and certainly this kind of being able to be patient during this time of COVID, and how everyone's life, personally, individually, is turned upside down, but spiritual communities have, we didn't ever plan on being virtual. I appreciate this AV team back here, that are like, okay, now we're the main ones here, yay! So thank you to Penny and Greg and Jim. Thank you all so much. All right, so I'm glad you didn't have to play me off, Noreen. So we're beginning this. We're talking about new. She was going to. We're talking about new today, and the aspects of something new, and how we always want something new. In fact, we are having a new day. This day has never come again, and it will not come again. But somehow we bring the old into the new, right? We get up, we may get ready in the same area, whatever we're doing, we drive the same way. And so we think we want new, but how about without the discomfort? Right? That's the kind of new we want. And I'm like looking for my page about that. But anyway, so the idea is that new is something that we really become skilled to live in this new day, to be able to notice what's new in life and not to avoid it. So I will find, and you will find as I am here, that I love acronyms because they help me remember what I'm doing here today, and it'll also help you when you're having your coffee or your brunch, or tomorrow when you're going, what was going on Sunday, to remember this acronym. So I have an acronym for new, and new is N for nowhere, and E for evolution, and W for wonder. All right? Now, I'll tell you, the word nowhere, everyone's like, well, that isn't all that inspirational, but it's very interesting. When you do something new, you have to let go of the old. I don't like that part, but it is true. They say, if you want to see new lands, you have to let go of the shore. So the minute that I got the call from Allison and I said, yes, I would love to be the new minister here at Unity of Santa Barbara, simultaneously, I had to tell the Center for Spiritual Living where I was that I was leaving. They knew I was in this process. But I've met so many wonderful friends there in Fort Lauderdale. Hi, y'all. It's 1 o'clock, so you should be watching. Like, no excuse. And it was so sad right? And that was so sad. And they were having parties, Zoom parties, and flowers, and all kinds of celebrations. And I felt like I'm so connected to these people, and I don't even know where I'm going, and I don't know. I mean, it's beautiful, and and the community's amazing, but I don't really know anybody well. And I had this feeling like you will always feel when you're doing something new. I'm sort of nowhere. I love this, and I'm leaving, and I'm going here, and I don't know what I'm doing. But what I remembered, and this is what I want you to hear today, is that when I first saw Unity of Santa Barbara on the list of churches that were available, I felt that sense of inspiration. I felt that sense of enthusiasm, which is in theos, which is in God. Yeah? So I recognized that was Spirit, God, Source, whatever you call it, working through me. And I was the one that put this whole thing into action, yeah? So I'm sitting there feeling, oh, where do I belong? It's like, oh, you're the one that made this whole thing happen. I mean, not you individually, but your inspiration, your enthusiasm was the catalyst for all of this. So I reflected on the song. I know you all have done a series on the Beatles, but the song Nowhere Man, yeah? And he's a real nowhere man, living in his nowhere land, making all his nowhere plans for nobody. And that's sort of what I was feeling, just where do I belong and what am I doing, and I'm leaving what I love. And it always comes up, I know, and certainly when I've committed to go into ministry, why do I always have to be the one that proves the universe works? Why is that my job, right? And I'm just sort of, and everybody laughs because you chose ministry. I'm like, hello. So anyway, I'm just in all this. And then I realized the next part of that song that says, nowhere man, please listen. You don't know what you're missing. Nowhere man, the world is at your command. The world is at your command. And I did realize it was the inspiration, it was the coming out here, it was the enjoying this community so much, it was the experience of Santa Barbara that is magical. And that was what was making this happen. The world is at our command. We're not a victim of this thing. I mean, I felt nowhere, but then I realized, oh, the world is at my command. That's what I need to listen to. That's what I need to not miss, is that I'm creating this, and we all are. That's our Christ consciousness. That's our divine nature. That's what we're born to experience, not a feeling of, we will experience it, but then something more true occurs to us, and that is the thing. And then I realized, really, Unity does a great job of shifting the wording. We're all about our thoughts, our prayers. We're creating what we're thinking about. Our energy inside is what's creating the energy outside. And so I thought about shifting the word nowhere to now here, right? Nowhere to now here. Because I know for me, and I know for every single human being I've ever met, is that this moment is the only moment that's happening. I mean, there may be maybe a minute delay on Facebook, whatever that is, but the idea is that this moment is the only moment that's happening. And this breath is the only breath that's happening. Let's just pay attention to this breath. Breathe in, feel your lungs expand, breathe out. And the gift of breath and paying attention to it always brings you back to this moment. Just feel the clothes on your body right now. The weight of the clothes or the lack of clothes. I don't know what you're doing at home. I don't care. But the point of feeling the clothes or the coolness or whatever it is, it's the ability to really be present in the now and in the here. And when we can do that, peace is just immediate. And let me tell you, I've had to take a lot of breaths in this last month. Yes. Now, I'll tell you, you take 20,000 breaths every day. So about now, you've taken, 6,000 breaths. Have you noticed them? No, right? All these breaths are going on, and we're not even noticing them. And it's okay. It would be very distracting to notice every breath. But we can recognize that this life thing is going on without us paying attention to it, and we really want to pay attention to it. We really want to pay attention to that peace that passes the understanding. So let me tell you, when you live in the now here, you see the miracles. And let me tell you about seeing the miracles, because I really needed to see them. And I was talking to Prissy, who was telling me a number of things. She actually called me to tell me, let me back up just a minute. When I started thinking about Fort Lauderdale to Santa Barbara, it's a little ways. Yeah, and at first I thought, road trip. I called one of my girls. Almost everybody I called went, Heidi, that's a long way. Like, we're all in our 60s. Like, what are you thinking? And then I'm just sort of like a car and a trailer and a big U-Haul. And one of my friends, Robin in Kansas City, thank you, darling, she said, I'll come down and drive with you. I'm like, thank you. Because most people were like, are you nuts? And I started thinking about it, and it did seem a little crazy. And so Prissy and I called me and said, you know what, I have a mover. She goes, I have this guy that moves me around town and all these things. And he just happens, now I want you to hear this, to be moving people from Santa Barbara to Miami at the end of August. And I bet you if you called him, he would keep that U-Haul truck and move you back to Santa Barbara. And I think he might even put your car in tow too. I'm like, huh? I mean, could it be more perfect? And I called my friend who had suggested this, my friend Greg from Fort Lauderdale, and he went, yeah, that's what you want to say yes to. You want to say yes to that. And I called Conrad Nolan, and you all look him up. I believe he is vibratesuccess@gmail.com. Vibrate Success. I'm like, this is a mover, right? And he comes out, and he did. He drove over. He moved me out. And guess what I got to do? Fly from one city to another city, just nonstop to LA, and the lovely Russ came and, have you been called lovely Russ before? But he came to pick me up, and he hadn't been to that airport in 9 years, so it's a miracle we're not still there. But anyway, he's like, I hadn't been here for 9 years. I'm like, oh, great. But anyway, we did very well. But what I'm saying is when I'm now here, everything, I notice the miracles. I notice the flowers. I notice, when we're looking down and we're worried and we're in our problem, we're not noticing all of the beauty and the really fascinating things that are going on. We miss that butterfly. We certainly don't answer the phone at the right time because we're all worried about something else. And so to see, and then when my friend Greg, thanks again, was helping me pack, he's like, who could have put this together? That this guy is driving to Miami this day. Like, if you tried to put this together, it would have taken you way too long. And I'm like, I know. The universe has my back, right? The universe plots for my good. That's my favorite, okay? The universe plots for my good. Let's say it together. The universe plots for my good, all right? So, nowhere to now here is a big part of doing something new. We know our friend Ram Dass, many of you might have known him along the way. He wrote a book that was called Be Here Now. You might need to be my age to have known about these things, but he was a lovely man. He passed pretty recently. And part of what he said, and we can answer this together, it's one of his quotes, and so we'll put it up now, Penny. He says, ask yourself, where am I? And what do we answer? Here. What time is it? Now. And then he says, say it until you can hear it. And what he means, of course, is the ability to say, I am here now. I am here now. I am now here. Whatever seems to work for your heart better, but the idea, and I take a breath. This is one of my 20,000 today, and I'm going to notice it. Yeah, so I wonder if just doing that brought you more into the present moment, because it really works. And even though I want to worry about tomorrow sometimes, it's not here. It's just nothing. I don't know anything about tomorrow, but I know about right now. Yep. Okay. So now we're going to move on to evolving. All right. Everyone is here. You all have how long you've been with Unity of Santa Barbara. You've evolved, and if you're brand new, you've evolved through whatever you've evolved through. When we've learned things. We've become more wise. You can't not. That's the best part of getting older. It's like, we had that relationship that was really crummy, and maybe you had another one because you are the only common denominator in your life. You have something to do with all those things that are happening. And so something might come up that there's that dynamic in a relationship, and you're like, I'm not doing that. Right? I'm not going to do that because of that wisdom. Maybe a job you didn't like, and then that comes up to offer that to you again, and you go, I'm not doing that. Right? So because this clarity is how we evolve. Now, for Matthew, Jesus told us some things a lot about wisdom, and he said from Matthew 9, Neither do men pour new wine into old wineskins. If they do, the skins will burst, and the wine will spill, and the wineskins will be ruined. Instead, they pour new wine into new wineskins, and both are preserved. So if you have wine and wineskins, that's a very handy thing to know. But we know that at Unity, we are talking about the symbolism in these in our Bible, but certainly metaphysically, we interpret things. So we can say, what does that mean in my life today? And what that means is you can't bring your old self into the new day. I mean, you can, and we do, but we really want to commit to doing something new. I will tell you, making this move energized things in me that needed to be energized, right? And it also allowed me to grieve, to feel sad when I needed to feel sad, and not like poo-poo that, but recognize it's okay to feel. It's okay to be present. And the idea of this bringing the old wine, it really wasn't going to work, you know. And I'm really glad my hair's still curled, meaning there's not humidity here. I'm glad I didn't have to bring too much old into this experience. So why do we bring our old into the new? Why do we do that? Right? It's our training. It's our training. You know, we grew up, I would imagine, in places that were similar thinking people, right? Sort of the Catholics grew up here, and the Jewish people grew up here, and even, you know, some of the Methodists and the Baptists. I grew up Episcopal, and I remember driving into the Episcopal church. I grew up in Houston, and Mother would look over at the other church across the way that was Baptist, and she'd say, they really have great music over there. The Baptists just have great music. And I remember thinking, why don't we go over there sometime, you know? But no way, you know, we were going to the Episcopals, and it was, you know, it was fine. But I realized, you know, there wasn't any, let's try something else. So I got a little story. There was a neighborhood of Catholic folks, and everybody in the neighborhood was Catholic, and they did not eat meat on Friday, because that's the rule, right? And so there was some Presbyterians that moved into the neighborhood. And the Catholic people came home from work on Friday, and they smelled the steak, and they were like, who is grilling steak? This doesn't happen in our neighborhood. And they went over to the Presbyterians. They look over the fence, and here the Presbyterians are cooking their steak, and they went in, and they went, oh, you know, welcome to the neighborhood. But we don't cook, we don't eat meat on Fridays, and we're Catholic, and if you'd like to, we could just make you Catholic, and everything will work out fine. And the Presbyterians went, well, is it pretty easy? And they're like, yeah, it just takes a few moments. So they came over a couple days later with some holy water, and they sprinkled them, and they said, you were Presbyterian, you enjoyed being Presbyterian, and now you're Catholic. And they're like, that's it? They're like, that's it. And you don't eat meat on Fridays and all those things. We'll give you a list of rules, and it'll all be fine. And so the next Friday, they drive home from work, all these people, and the smell of steak is happening again. They're like, what the heck? And they look over in the Presbyterians' yard, and the Presbyterians have their steaks, and they're saying, you were born a cow, you enjoyed being a cow, and now you're a fish. Yeah. Yes, these habits die hard. But this is why we bring our old into our new, rather than, what is it I'm ready to not live anymore? What is it I got from, let's say, my family, my upbringing, you know, any training I had, what works and what doesn't? And why do I do the things I do? Because I think that's fascinating. You know, this came to my mind, and unfortunately I'm going to tell it. So in my house, we always had the refrigerator, the garbage can under the kitchen sink. It's just the way it is. So whenever I go in someone's house, I'm thinking that I always open the cabinet underneath the kitchen sink. And so, you know, I come into this house, I'm bringing a room from somebody, and I will go into the kitchen, and thank heavens the garbage can was under the kitchen sink, because normally I'm like, that's not where it's supposed to be. You know, wherever else it is, it might not be under the kitchen sink. So, but I want to ask myself, is that the only place for the garbage can? No, right? But this is where we get to have some humor. We have to laugh at ourselves, and that's the whole point. And we get to also say, maybe there's more to me than that garbage can under the sink. There's more going on. In fact, Carl Sagan, an astrophysicist, said, the cosmos is within us. You are made of star stuff. We are the way the universe is to know itself. So you being you is the way the universe knows itself. Then I always want to say, no pressure, right? The universe can't be what it needs to be without you being who you are. It's a big deal to follow that inspiration, to follow those knowings, because they will not leave you. You must follow them. All right, so we forget where this power is sometimes that is within us. We can forget. So I want to show you a little movie clip. You will know that I love movies, and this is a movie from 1939, and you all know it. But it is the moment that Dorothy discovers at the very end of her journey. She had the yellow brick road, she has witches, she has all these friends she meets, she has flying monkeys, poppies, all kinds of challenges. And at the very end, she finds out where her power is. All right, here we go. That's my next week's outfit.
Can you help me? You don't need to be helped any longer. You've always had the power to go back to Kansas. I have.
Then why didn't you tell her before?
Because she wouldn't have believed me. She had to learn it for herself.
What have you learned, Dorothy?
Well, I think that it wasn't enough just to want to see Uncle Henry and Auntie Em. And it's that if I ever go looking for my heart's desire again, I won't look any further than my own backyard. Because if it isn't there, I never really lost it to begin with. Is that right? That's all it is.
But that's so easy. I should have thought of it for you. I should have felt it in my heart.
No, she had to find it out for herself. Now those magic slippers will take you home in 2 seconds. Oh.
Mm-hmm. You had the power all along, my dear. Yes, yes, yes. Give yourselves a hand for that power within, I tell you. Yes. And what does the Scarecrow say? It was so easy, right? But we had to learn it ourselves. And that's what this evolution is about. This is what this newness is about. And so when you're saying, why did I have to go through all this? It's because it's no further than your own backyard, which is your Christ consciousness, but it is within. So we get to play with this. We get to know that it is within us, and it is that stretch into something new that brings it on. All right, our final experience is about wonder. The idea of being a child. Yes, they say the children inherit the kingdom of God, and it is because that childlike wonder is what brings us into that sense of newness. That's how we notice what we notice. And so I invite you, as you're on this journey of bring it on, everything new, that we ask ourselves questions like, I wonder what life would be if I valued courage more than comfort. I wonder how this is blessing me. I wonder how I can take care of myself in the midst of this. If I didn't have a story about my past, what might I try? It's so interesting to put that wonder into your life, to ask yourselves that question. I wonder what's going to continue to happen in my involvement here in Santa Barbara, at Unity of Santa Barbara. It's just that opening, the lightness, right? And that's where newness. I kept saying, I wonder how this is going to work out. And it did, but I felt a lot better about it because I allowed it to be incredible. I do want to thank a couple of the folks that have reminded me of the power, and one is Dr. Chris Michaels. He kept saying to me when I left Fort Lauderdale, he said, Heidi, I would never stand in the way of your dream. And I was leaving, and we were very good partners working together. So thank you. And Dr. Temple Hayes, who was so big on my coming here, called me every day, are you coming? And are you, did you take Santa Barbara? And she wrote me yesterday, and she said, Heidi, don't state or think about anything being difficult, and it will all be easy. Yeah, thank you, Temple. These are my pals, right? So we need those pals, and that is how this works. So I want to thank you again for showing up for your awakening. Yeah, it is you that is showing up for your own awakening. I'm very excited about playing big together. And I'll end with this quote that I just found this morning that was so wonderful when it comes to who we are. You are the laboratory, and every day is an experiment. Go and find what is new and unexpected. And so it is. Yes. All right. Woo. So now we do focus on some of our breaths, all right? So we are going to take time to marinate in this wonderful newness that is this new day, that is this new breath, that is this new beginning. And thank you, Noreen. I love your music underneath this. So we allow ourselves to rest in the awakening. Rest in the sweetness. Rest in the comfort. Rest in this knowing that we don't have to go looking for our answers. We allow our answers to come. We recognize paying attention just to this breath reminds us that we are life happening. And we are, each of us individually, you are how the universe comes to know itself. Through your joy, through your love, through your choices, through putting those new thoughts into this new day, that of possibility, that of clarity, that of confidence. We go from nowhere to now here. We evolve and we grow. And we stay in the wonder. I wonder. I wonder. I wonder. And we take a moment in the silence to allow ourselves to breathe ourselves into that place of calm and of peace and of knowing we live this life one breath at a time. You have made so many good choices in your life that are about self-care, about awakening, and that's why we are here together as a global spiritual family. And feel that sense of being proud of who you are as a spiritual being and how you have made the world work by being you, by showing up with your heart open, your mind open, and believing in not only possibilities, but in the clarity of manifestation. Jesus knew that we would have peace beyond our understanding, so we allow ourselves to let peace and kindness and clarity be our places of our mantras, of our affirmations. And we see that we are clearly and strongly connected to all that is. And all is well. Amen, and so it is. So we will now have a piece of music called The Impossible Dream by the amazing Unity Singers. This is my first song that I ever sang as a solo, and you're going to be very grateful that I'm not doing that now. They are extraordinary, and so here are our Unity Singers. Wow. Beautiful. Wow. I don't know how you all, Noreen, thank you for many years ago, you all came together. Isn't that precious? Oh, it's amazing. Yes, you all did it quite a bit better than I did. Anyway, all right, so we were offering, and our generosity is so much what we're celebrating today in our newness and our bringing it on. And so I want to thank you all for your financial gifts, your blessings, this ability to give from where we've received. So the idea is that we give from the inspiration that we receive. I believe there's a donate button on the website. Is that on the live stream? You can do that. You can give it a credit card on our website, which is santabarbaraunity.org. And so let me tell you about blessing our financial gifts, because this is what is so valuable. You can put whatever you're giving between your hands, or you can just put your hands together, because some people are giving automatically through a credit card, and that's great also. So you hold your gift in your hand, and then let us say together, and I believe the words will come up here: divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, and all that I share. So it is. Beautiful. Okay, so let me just tell you a couple of things. The World Day of Prayer, which is Unity's sort of, it only happens at Unity Center, so it's a very wonderful experience. And prayer, of course, is how Unity began with Myrtle and Charles, especially Myrtle when she began. It's the 27th Annual World Day of Prayer. It's going to kick off from Unity Village. Who's been to Unity Village? Isn't it extraordinary? So we're going to be connecting with Unity worldwide often, and so you'll want to go to unity.org to see the beginning of this service. It's going to be 5 p.m. Pacific time, opening ceremony. It'll be live streamed on Facebook and YouTube at unity.org. All right, then at 7, you can get on santabarbaraunity.org, and at 7 p.m. Pacific, and we'll be here leading an online service, Noreen and myself, and then that will be from 7 to probably about 8. And then the next day, which is actually the World Day of Prayer, so we're going to be the World Day of Prayer Eve, which they have at Unity Village. Then the next day is the World Day of Prayer Thursday, this Thursday, and it'll be live streamed at Unity Village, again, unity.org. And then at 7 p.m. here, Reverend Kathy will be, it'll be a Zoom that she'll be doing a hands-on service that evening. All right, so the website, it's all there for you to get those times and dates, but that's this Wednesday and this Thursday. All right, now next Sunday, I'm going to start a series that will work very well for our times. It's called Thriving Through Uncertainty. And you all might have met Tama. It's called Moving Beyond Fear of the Unknown and Making Change Work for You. So Tama is a wonderful, extraordinary speaker and writer, and so we'll be working with this information. It'll be on Sundays. We'll be doing it for 7 weeks. And then on Wednesdays, I'll be having a class. So you all, I'd love you to come and be part of that class where we are discussing the material and how you're using it. And yes, and then after service, we'll start to have our Zoom time, if we're not going to be out here, to also talk about what is happening in your lives with this. All right, so Bob, you're back. Here's Bob. All right, thank you, Bob.
Is this on? Okay. I hope you all noticed the great energy and heat and passion that was coming through our new minister.
Bring it on.
And it occurred to me, for those of you in Santa Barbara, you all know we're in the midst of a heat wave.
Oh.
So we have our own version of climate change coming in the personhood of Reverend Heidi.
That's right.
So thank you for your beautiful message. Beautiful message. So Reverend Heidi would love to know what's in your hearts. And so we will have a special congregational meeting next Sunday, September 13th at 11:30 on Zoom. So that would be following our regular service. And so this will be an opportunity to meet her via Zoom and really have, in essence, get a sense of her in a personal way. So on that note, it's now time for our peace song. Yes. So join me, with a little luck. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be, with God as Creator.
Take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me.
And join me in the prayer for protection.
The light of God surrounds us. I am that light. The love of God enfolds us. I am that love. The power of God protects us. I am that power. The presence of God watches over us. I am that presence. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well.
And thank you for joining us this Sunday. Thank you, Reverend
Thank you,
Heidi.
honey. Yes, yes, yes. Let's go out there. Wow, that was so sweet.
To